Now, this is the proposed personal tax amendment sponsored by Villar. Still, there are no exemptions. Those earning below 20,000, you still have to pay 5%. So they just adjusted the brackets. And if we are to compare it with the existing tax system, tax structure, so who are the winners and losers here? So this is just random examples. For those who are earning 19,000 annually, in the existing tax rate system, they would have to pay 500, it's 10% in excess of 10,000. But under the new system, proposed system, they would only have to pay 5%. So these are winners. However, those who are earning 20,001 would have to pay, using the current rate, 500 plus 10%. But under the proposed tax structure, they would now have to pay 1,000 plus 10%. So they would have to pay more. As well as those who are earning 60,001, under the current system, they would have to pay 2,500 plus 15%. But under the proposed system, they would have to pay 5,000 plus 15%. Again, they would have to pay more. However, for the higher brackets, for example, for those earning 140,001, under the current system, they would have to pay 22,500 plus 25%, but under the new system, the proposed system, they would only have to pay 17,000 and 20% of excess. And so on and so forth. Now, for those who are living at the poverty threshold of 109,000, there are winners because in the current system, they would have to pay 8,500 plus 20%, but under the new system, they would only have to pay 5,000 plus 15%. So there are winners and losers. But the thing is, the losers are those in the lower income bracket. To me, it simply doesn't make sense. The question there is, why tax the income of the income poor? Now, from income tax, we move to the this partner proposed policy, which is to increase VAT from 12% to 15%. Now, what are the advantages of this proposal? One is it's easy and accurate collection because VAT is passed on to the consumers. Meaning, those who are the sellers, or the companies, the restaurant owners, the grocery owners, would automatically collect VAT from the consumers, and they would have to automatically put it in their database. So, as for the government, they wouldn't have any problem collecting VAT from the consumers. Also, they're thinking that if you combine the lower income tax as proposed and higher VAT, they're thinking that this would lead people to save more than consume. Yes, I see eyebrows rising. Yes, just a quick correlation of the personal income tax among 6 countries and the savings rate. So there's moderately negatively correlation between personal income tax and savings rate. However, sure, this is statistics, but the question is, in our context, are there really incentives to save? If how much interest do you earn from your savings? Like less than 1%, from time deposit less than 1%, and inflation rate is what?
3.5.
3%?
3.5 to
3.5%. So, given that context, if you're the consumer, if you're the citizen, would you rather save or would you rather spend?
Stocks.
That's another thing. That's why there's a question here, invest. Do we have enough incentives or at least enough awareness that it's not just an exclusive choice between savings and consumption, that there's a third option, which is to invest? And again, do we have awareness or incentive for people to invest? So, although theoretically the administration's proposal to increase VAT and lower income tax would theoretically would make sense, we have to do reality check. Now, overall, my point here is that the principles behind the policies are just as important as the policies themselves. How do we view tax system? If we view tax system as a mechanism of government to maximize the revenues, well and good. Tax everyone, tax everything. We will maximize government revenues. But is that the principle that we're upholding? If our principle is that tax system is a redistribution mechanism of the government to bridge the income gap, to help those who are the wage earners or those at the laylayan or lipunan, then we have to rethink our strategy. First, we have to have sound financial strategy, meaning we should not rely on tax revenues alone in financing our public programs. Second, if we really want a distribution of income, well, it only makes sense to use poverty threshold as the cut-off for exemption. Let us not tax the poor. And to make their estimated middle class income of 1.44 million the lower limit for the 30% tax rate. And probably anything above 1.44 million, they should be charged a higher rate of 35%. I don't know. And finally, to maximize government revenues from VAT and excise tax. But I would focus more on the excise tax because these are luxury taxes. So that's all, and thank you for listening.